Hey everyone, Mr. Cinema Junkie here, and this is my video entry to Herorhim2's very first contest. Them boys is having a contest. And for this contest, they ask us to pick a favorite movie and a not so favorite movie. And on the one hand, we have to convince you or tell you why you should watch the favorite one and why you should avoid the not so favorite one. Anyone who knows me knows that my favorite one would have either been Phantasm or Laid to Rest. And I could give you a long, long laundry list of why you should watch those movies. And on the other hand, the absolute worst movie for me has always been and will always be House of the Dead. And don't even get me started on that because I don't have that much memory on this card. But I can tell you a ton of reasons why you should avoid that movie at all costs. In fact, no, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Not gonna do it. Nope. So in honor of Herorhim2's contest, I'm gonna mix it up a bit and pick something totally different for favorite and totally different for least favorite, and give you some solid reasons why you should watch one and avoid the other. So first off, and I'm going to try and do this without too much belching. I just had a little soda, feeling a little gassy. Okay, almost let that one escape. First off, favorite movie. Well, this has become a solid tradition in my house. Every Christmas, I watch this movie. Okay, there it goes. I think I'm done. I hope I'm done. Sorry, guys. Yeah. As sure as I watch the A Christmas Story, 24 hours of Christmas Story, I catch at least 12 hours of that. I watch certain horror movies during Christmas, and this one is the top of the pack, and it is Black Christmas. Black Christmas predated such serial killer movies or slasher flicks as Halloween by a few years, and it also predated the calls are coming from inside of the house formula by quite a few years. It's an originator. Yes, it was made in the early 70s. It is a little dated as far as like hairstyles and clothing. If you can look past that, you're in for a real treat. This movie it's not just hack, stab, and slash kind of movies. It has a suspense build up. It has a little air of mystery where you never know who the killer is. You never see his face. You never get in. You're guessing throughout the whole time. Is it this person? Is it this person? It has a little bit of a comedic element to it, which is kind of always nice. A nice little relief in some horror movies. No nudity, which is a shame. But that's fine. We can forgive that. Back when this movie was made, I know it caught a lot of flack because of the whole theme of Christmas being used for such a movie. But it has stood the test of time. You can't mess with the original. They tried to do a remake of it. Failed miserably. In my eyes, it failed miserably. They tried to, everything that was right about this movie, they took it and they threw it right out of the window when they did the remake. In this one, you know the name of Billy, but you never see who he is. You only hear his voice on the phone as a disgusting prank caller, saying a lot of vile crap. And in the remake, you see right off the bat who Billy is. He's in some psycho ward, and although it was an entertaining story as to why he got in there and about his life and everything, you know just a little too much about this cat, and there's no suspense to it. Okay, this has you guessing. Who is he? Who could he be? What is his malfunction? The kills are not very bloody. They're not very gory, but they're still very good. And the fact that you don't need a lot of blood and stuff to stay entertained with this movie kind of says a lot. Nowadays, you pretty much have to walk into the audience of people watching the movie and throw a bucket of guts on them just to get a reaction out of them anymore. This one doesn't need that. Has some very creepy elements, subtle elements. I mean, it doesn't take much to just be going at a straight line and then just jump out at you and make you jump out of your seat real quick. Like, oh, that was so scary. That wasn't scary. That just caught you off guard. This one had you kind of like gripping the edge of the seat, kind of like, oh shit, what's going to happen next? Oh shit, what's she going to the room for? That kind of stuff. It would build and it would just keep you there, just kind of suspended in this suspense, I guess. Suspended in suspense. That didn't sound right coming out. Anyways, just a lot of fun, man. Just a really fun, turn the lights off, pop some popcorn, hang out with some friends kind of movie. Or watch by yourself. It's even better when you're by yourself watching this. So if you haven't seen it, this is highly recommended. Black Christmas. It is a classic. It cannot be touched by any remakes. I'm glad it never spawned a sequel because that would have ruined the ending. And this one is a noteworthy ending. I won't tell you what it is, of course, because that would just ruin everything. But I've had a couple of people tell me didn't like the ending. But you know what? In my book, this is a classic ending. Best damn ending ever. I loved it. I'll go to my grave saying that. Loved everything about this movie. Black Christmas. Definitely check it out if you haven't done it. And for new worst, House of the Dead will always be top pick on that one. Because House of the Dead has this appeal that will draw suckers into it and make them go, that looks like a good movie. And then they'll go in there and come out like, that stupid movie. But this movie doesn't have any appeal to it. This one doesn't have anything that'll draw you in and make you go, hey, I gotta check that out. More so than remakes. I mean, I don't have a problem with remakes as long as they're done well. Unlike, like I said, this one didn't have a very well-made remake. But what I don't like is when America, USA, takes a foreign movie and turns it into its own. Because usually in doing that, it waters it down somehow. It loses an edge to it somehow. Like Dark Water. Dark Water wasn't a very over-the-top, crazy, insane, scary movie, but it had a really cool element to it, which once America got its hands on it, once the USA got its hands on it, they took what was really in your face about it and watered it down. Made it kind of acceptable almost. Oh, that's too much. Let's tone it down a bit. Ruined it. Completely ruined the movie. So I thought the worst thing that you can do with a foreign movie is Americanize it. Until I saw this movie. Last thing you want to do is take a good foreign movie and have India get a hold of it. Okay? The movie I'm speaking of is The Eye, which was originally a Korean movie, and this is the Indian version of it, Naina. If you watch both movies side by side, you'll see almost the same screenplay evolving, aside from the character of her mother, who was supposed to add some kind of comic element to it, which failed miserably. Completely unnecessary character. Things she said and did were unnecessary. Didn't help the plot along. Didn't help the story along whatsoever. Just unnecessary. In both movies, you see a girl who loses her sight at a young age in an auto accident. You see that she is going to have surgery to kind of replace her corneas in her eyes and get her eyesight back. In the hospital, she meets a little kid who had some kind of cancer or brain tumor or something, and they're both bald-headed. In The Eye, it's convincing that this child has a problem and has some kind of a brain problem where she has to have surgery. Looks like all her head is gone from her hair is gone from all the surgery she's had, or chemotherapy or whatever she's using. In this movie, it looks like the only person who had a problem was the makeup artist. He looks like he showed up for work drunk or half asleep, because in this one, the kid with the bald wig, you can tell it's a bald wig. It looks like something off of Saturday Night Live. In fact, the bald wigs on Saturday Night Live look better. Okay, you can see the line of the bald wig over the ear. You can see when the little kid like raises her eyebrows, like in surprise or like that. You see this big, deep crease where the bald wig starts and goes over the head. And if that wasn't enough, in the back, the kid turns her head like that and looks up. And when she does that, you can see her hair coming out from under the wig. Just all these little pieces of hair, just big tufts of hair coming out from under there. And that was probably the best part of the movie. After that, everything just becomes so unnecessary. Been there, done that. That's all it feels like. Maybe when this thing broke out in India, everybody was just in awe, because they probably don't get a lot of Korean movies over there. But being in a country where we can get both the American and original Korean versions of a movie, and then this comes along, fail. At some point she goes to the village where the girl who she got the corneas from lives, just like in the other story. And in it you see some guy who looks like Wizzo the Wizard from Bozo the Clown. It just becomes so asinine and just stupid. I bought this just because it sounded interesting, and then I remembered why it sounded interesting, because I had seen it before. It says here, imaginative and pulse pounding. No, it's not. It's an edge of your seat ride. No, it isn't. Terrifying. The special effects are awesome. The special effects blew. Okay, some of it was okay, like the ghost in the classroom scene, just like in the original, comes flying at her. That was kind of okay, and I'm sure in Bollywood this went over like gangbusters, but it fails. Okay, bottom line, this fails. The only reason I still have it is because I can't get anything in trade for it. I took it in to sell it and they wouldn't give me anything for it. And because if I gave anything to anybody, it would probably be a friend of mine, and I usually want my friends to stay my friends, so I will be holding on to this until I find a good, suitable purpose for it. So, there you have it. Best and worst, and why you should avoid one and watch the other. And in closing, I would like to say that this right here is the best vampire movie ever. The Lost Boys are just it, man. 100% cool. You're not cool if you don't own a copy of this. It is by far the best. Bram Stoker has nothing on these guys. The Lost Boys. Badass soundtrack, badass vampires, badass hunters, the Frog Brothers. You can't go wrong with the Lost Boys. In fact, anyone who feels that the Lost Boys is the best vampire movie ever is my hero. Him too. Did I get that extra 20%, guys? Sure hope so. Well, that's it. Good luck to everybody in the contest. Guys, take it easy. Matt, and I'll be talking to you all soon. Thanks.